All right. All right, good evening, Internet. It is I, Eric Arnold, aka the Big E, here in the Sports Barn, Wednesday the 9th of September. Here for our NFL preview, and with us we have our special guest, Mark.
Eagles!
My brother, Mark, who can say basically 6 words, and 2 of them are Eagles in Philadelphia.
Doug Peterson.
That's the other 4, and he has 2 left.
Carson Wentz.
So he's like Groot. He's like a retarded Groot.
That's right.
So we're going to make our picks here for the upcoming NFL season. Kind of give us an idea of what we're pushing, what we're fading, what we're betting, which way we think the season's going to shape out here. To refresh our memory, Andy Reid is the champion. As odd as that sounds coming out of our mouths.
He is the champion.
That we had bashed him for, well, I guess 20 years. We fired him in Philadelphia. Well, we fired him in 2003.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they kept him for another 9 years of no Super Bowl. And then he finally went to Kansas City and got it done there. I don't regret. I mean, you feel bad that he won?
Nah, I feel good for Andy.
Yeah,
it was his turn. I got mine, so now he got his.
Yeah, I feel good that Andy got his Super Bowl. I mean, he is a premium coach. It's just that in 2012 he had quit in Philadelphia. He just, he was having trouble with his family, and the dude just checked out. He, was reborn in Kansas City, but that ain't the coach we fired in 2012. That was a different dude that had stopped coaching.
That's right.
You agree? Okay.
I totally agree.
So that's where we are there. He's the champion. So what are the big stories here in the offseason in the NFL? I brought this up preparing to shoot this video, and Mark was like, "Bah, do we have to?" I think we have to talk about the New England Belichick-Brady divorce. What do you think of that?
I hope they both suffer.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say neither one of us is a fan of either one of these guys.
No.
Just, I don't know. I'm more an admirer of Belichick than I am Brady. I think that's how I see it. So how do you think the Patriots are going to do this year without Brady?
Win the division.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that Belichick's going to be just fine. I think he'll be just fine. What do you think Brady's going to do?
Well, I mean, they added stuff in Tampa. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, they're probably going to make the playoffs, at least as a wild card anyway.
I don't know.
And that begrudges me to say that.
I don't know. I mean, of these guys who, have worn a uniform their whole career and then go somewhere else, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, who are some other these, like at the very end, they go to another team. The only one I can think that had success there was Favre, right?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he didn't make the Super Bowl, but he came one sloppy pass away from doing it. So I guess it's possible Brady could have success down there.
Some success.
Yeah.
Limited success.
Yeah,
enough to make the playoffs, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I view Brady as an average quarterback at this point in his career. I do not view him as an elite quarterback anymore.
No, he's average, but he'll give the quarterback position some stability in Tampa Bay, which they didn't have with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I think we agree there. That
when you're throwing 30 interceptions, hey man, it's hard to be successful.
All right, so do we agree Brady's better than Winston, Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
I agree. Would you say he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
I think he is too. So, you know, I think that would make, what was Tampa last year? What did they finish? I mean, were they under 500?
Yeah, they were right around 7-9, 6-10, and I don't remember exactly which one.
Yeah, I don't either. So, I think we both agree that Tampa's going to be better, but I don't know we're putting them in the Super Bowl.
No.
No, all right. Well, let's see. What were some of the other off-season moves? What do you think about Dallas has finally fired, he's gone, I can't even think of the dude's name. He was the backup quarterback.
Jason Garrett.
That's it. Troy Aikman's backup, or backup. I don't even remember. He's how fast we forget these guys. They fire him and we forget him the next day. Jason Garrett, he's gone. So now what? Mike McCarthy.
Is McCarthy a better coach than Garrett? I guess. I suppose. I mean, McCarthy won the Super Bowl in 2010 with Green Bay, and then what did they do? They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
For 9 years.
Yeah.
So, am I supposed to, genuflect at Mike McCarthy? No, I'm not going to genuflect to him.
No, to be fair, I mean, if the Cowboys, hired Jesus Christ as their coach, you would say, well, what kind of experience does Jesus Christ have?
That's right.
He
has no experience whatsoever.
He has no experience. He's not just going to simply use his godly powers to defeat the Eagles because he's, he's Christ. That would be evil. So if he just, used his powers for evil, he couldn't do that. That's actually a pretty good argument why Jesus Christ would suck as a coach. He could not use his power to win games. He's like contractually prohibited from doing that. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to say before we get into?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Now, I think what we're going to do here, because I'm so annoyed with this audio drift problem that I've yet to be able to solve, we're going to run this video maybe another 5 minutes, and then we're going to shut it off and restart it in part 2. So basically, we're going to have two parts here. So you're watching part 1, and then we'll finish up our picks and our Super Bowl picks in part 2, and any other NFL. Before I get into the picks, I knew there was one. See, I don't write notes down, so I just sit here and go, So what do you think as far as teams you feel good about, teams that are going to surprise, teams that are going to do well, teams that are going to surprise in a negative fashion? If somebody was good last year, you expect to be not as good. You got any feel for those?
I got 2 from the NFC West.
Yeah.
Number 1, the San Francisco 49ers will miss the playoffs. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
Oddly enough, I think we agree on that. I don't know about miss the playoffs, but I think there's a pretty well-established trend of the Super Bowl loser often just having a bad year. Where did LA finish last year? The LA Rams. Were they in the playoffs?
No, I think they missed the playoffs.
I think they did too. And you say to yourself, this was an unstoppable team the year before, and but they lost. They had every chance in the world to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they simply could not get it done. They scored 3 points. Next year, they're out of the playoffs. So I think we both feel that San Francisco is a team you can fade.
That's right.
In this upcoming year.
They had the same opportunity. They had no business losing that Super Bowl, and they did. They handed the keys to Garoppolo in the 4th quarter, and he crashed the car right into a telephone pole.
Yeah, I think that if they had simply just manned up and ran the ball in that 4th quarter, they would have won the game.
Yeah,
I don't think Kansas City was going to be able to consistently stop the San Francisco running attack had they just committed to it. But, these are NFL coaches, and they simply do not run the ball. They run the ball to set up the pass. That's all. That's all the run is for, is just to simply set up the pass. They never really rely on it. This ain't the 70s. I do think when a coach comes along from the 70s, he has an advantage because, you know, no one knows how to handle it. It's so anachronistic. They're like, oh my God, what do we do? That's not fair. They just keep running the ball and picking up 4 yards every carry. So what do we do? What was your other team? You said 2.
The Arizona Cardinals will make the playoffs.
Okay.
I think that's a team on the come.
Well, I think, frankly, I think that is probably a very trendy pick. I don't think you're the first person to say that. I think a lot of people are enamored with Kyler Murray. You know, speed, how quick he is.
He's going to have a solid citizen wide receiver now, DeAndre Hopkins.
I
think that team's they're gonna do some stuff.
I can't go with you on that for a couple reasons. One, that's such a tough division. I mean, all 4 teams in that division are good. And Cliff Kingsbury, you know, has never been a defensive guy. So,
no.
You know,
and I don't know who their defensive coordinator is.
I don't think it matters. You know, you got a guy like Texas Tech Kingsbury. You know, this is a dude that wants to throw the ball. This is a dude that is used to, you know, I think he actually philosophically believes that you can win games 50 to 48 in the NFL and have success. I don't think that's true at all. So
at a certain point that runs out.
Yeah, I mean, eventually
it's enough to win you some games.
Well, eventually what's going to happen is Murray's going to get hurt. You know, if you just throw it on to him and say, you know, Buddy Ryan it and just say, go make me 5 plays, Randall, go do it. You know, sooner or later he is going to get hurt. You know, he's not exactly a huge dude anyway. All right, so fade the 49ers, play the Cardinals, says Mark. My 2 teams, I would say, I already touched on the one. I agree with fading the 49ers. The other team I like there are the Dallas Cowboys. I think that Mark McCarthy is a markedly better coach than Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett has hamstrung that Cowboys team for a number of years. And I think you're going to see them, I think you're going to see them do some things this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's part 1. Now we're going to get to the picks. Let me restart this. They're separate videos, so you're going to have to go and click on a different video to watch our picks. But that shouldn't be too hard for you all. My subscribers are pretty smart.